Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another episode of my 100 Films in 100 Days series. Today we're going to be talking about the movie Howl's Moving Castle. I will be totally honest with you. Unlike the majority of the films that I'm watching on these series, these are movies that, like, beforehand I have a general understanding of what it is. I know going into it, like, something about the characters, something about the story, something about the genre. I know nothing about this movie. I'm pretty sure it's a Studio Ghibli film, but even that I was a little confused about. I'm pretty sure I will figure that out later. But that being said, I know it's an animated movie and it's from 2004, and I plan on doing a video for my birthday this year where I rank all of the movies that I've seen that came out the year I was born, and I haven't seen a whole lot of 2004 movies, so I wanted to add this to the list. I feel like it can be a very fun time, and it's on HBO Max because apparently the majority of Studio Ghibli films are on HBO Max now, so I'm excited to watch this. I'm going to go ahead and watch it, come back, give you guys my initial thoughts, review, reaction, and let's dive into this, shall we?
Watching 100 films in 100 days.
Okay, and I think that I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible. I think in a lot of ways this film might just not have been for me. I hate watching a movie like this where it's 2 hours long, there's a lot happening, and by the end of the movie, I still am kind of confused about what the main point of the movie was. I think that there's a lot of incredible visuals. I think that the animation style is absolutely breathtaking. The moving fire character in this film looks absolutely gorgeous. A lot of the magic and stuff in this film looks incredible. I will say this is a great movie for if you're just going for the vibes. It has an incredible feeling. You literally feel incredibly magical. Like, this to me, I feel like if you show this to like a kid and this is one of the first movies they ever watch, they will probably really latch on to a lot of the things that happen in this film because there's just a lot of really cool elements of it. The whole concept with Howl's Moving Castle having the door where you can like switch it to this tile and then the door opens up here, or you can switch to this tile and the door opens up here. That's such a cool thing. I love that. I think that the way that they use magic incredibly casually in this movie is really interesting, and I like the fact that with the exception of Sophie, who's our main character who just kind of got cursed, a lot of the other people here have magical elements to them, which I think is incredibly interesting, and I love that. I think that this movie does an interesting job of trying to do like a found family trope. I feel like by the end of the movie, you still kind of don't fully understand what everybody's deal is on, like, aside from Sophie, I feel like none of these characters get a whole lot of time to shine, and they don't really get like a great moment where you're like, that's the reason why this character is in this movie. And I think that that's really interesting. Sophie, I do think, is a very captivating character, though. I do really like her character journey. I like the fact that something absolutely crazy bazonkersville happens to her at the beginning of this film. She randomly turns into an old lady, and she immediately takes it on. She's like, oh, well, I can't be seen like this, so I'm going to go on an adventure now into the middle of the woods. And that's what she does. She finds Howl's Moving Castle. She ends up on Howl's Moving Castle, becomes a part of the family, kind of brings them all together. And I think that her character has a great story in itself. I think that she's one of the best parts of the storytelling aspect of this film, is just overall kindness being a great superpower, because as opposed to her being with Howl, who's super magical and cool, and the West Witch, or whatever, the evil girl who puts her in this curse, who also has a bunch of magical powers, she doesn't have any magical powers, but she is able to bring together this group of people who otherwise wouldn't necessarily mesh well together, and I think that that's really cool. I love the fact that she's always super patient with Howl. Howl seems to be like a very, like, almost like moody teenager-esque character, and in the beginning that seems like very like odd. It's like, why is he? And then you realize that a big part of it is because he's spiraling and he feels so helpless during this giant war that's been going on for a really long time. And I love the themes of anti-war that's going on in this movie, because there is nobody wins when a war happens. Whenever a war happens, it's just losses on all sides of the board, because no matter what, innocent lives will be lost. No matter what, specific businesses, cities, local people are going to be affected by these wars that they don't even really know what the war is being fought over for a lot of the times. So I do kind of like the fact that the war is relatively ambiguous throughout this movie. It's not like trying to tie it to any specific war, but it's just war in general being an overall overarching theme of this film. It's like war is bad, and I feel like that's a pretty standard thing. I really like that. I love that once Sophie gets older, she starts to kind of have that appreciation for things that she didn't necessarily notice or care as much about when she was younger. There's a couple of sequences where she's with the little boy and they're sitting out by the lake, and he's just like, it's just a lake, lady, and she's just like, no, it's actually quite beautiful, and I've never really understood how beautiful this truly was, and just the stillness and the calmness is just really breathtaking. And I like that because something I knew about Studio Ghibli, which I was able to confirm, this is a Studio Ghibli movie. One thing that is huge about Studio Ghibli films is that they like to really breathe in and let you like take in the movie itself. So there's a lot of times, and I've heard this from different people, I don't know how true this is, but there's a lot of times in Studio Ghibli films where they will genuinely slow down the pace of the movie for a little bit for you to breathe and just enjoy the artwork, the craftsmanship that goes into these films, the animation, and how beautiful and stunning everything is, and just absolutely like gives you kind of this moment to kind of appreciate just the fact that movies are art. It's not just like, oh, this is just like a story that's being told. It's not like this silly little thing. It's not just like as simple as just recording a video and that's it. It's hundreds and hundreds of artists coming together to write the stories, write the scripts, write the storyboards, draw the storyboards, create the animation for it, drawings, and it's like thousands and thousands upon drawings having to be stitched carefully together. It's breathtaking. It is genuinely a very gorgeous movie, and I think that the, like I said, magical aspects of it, on top of just being really cool, like, oh, this guy's a wizard and he's doing this wizard thing, and oh, he has a castle that moves and walks on its own because the fire guy does that. It's more than just that. It's also just the beauty in the film, the beauty and the magic of filmmaking itself, which I think is something that the Studio Ghibli films, if I'm not mistaken, tend to do a really good job with. So I like that. That being said, I did not understand a lot of what was happening in this movie. I feel like a lot of the magic goes underexplained. There's just a lot of times where like, oh, this guy has this curse, and it's like, why does he have this curse? We don't know. Throughout the entire film, they don't really expand upon it. Sophie getting her curse where she changes ages, and then there's a lot of times throughout the third act where she changes back to being young, and then she's older again, and then she's younger again, and then she's older again, and then she's younger again. But when she is younger, she has like this silver hair, and it's like, why does she keep changing ages? They don't do an incredible job of explaining that. And there's just like a lot of interesting elements of the story that towards the end of the movie, it's like it would have been a little bit better to understand why certain things are happening the way that they do. I just feel like it feels very nonsensical, and that could just be that I wasn't comprehending some like really subtle storytelling elements here. And if that is the case, somebody please call me out for it in the comments below, because I genuinely wanted to enjoy this movie a little bit more, but the third act just felt like way too much was happening, but not enough was happening, and there wasn't enough explaining of what is happening. So visually, everything looks fantastic, but it also story-wise is just like overwhelming, and not necessarily in a good way. So I, for the most part, enjoyed this movie. I think for the vibes, it was pretty good. It was pretty peaceful. It was very soothing. I feel like would be a great movie to watch right before bed, and I really loved that element of it. I thought that that was fun. So if I had to say if this movie was overrated, underrated, in the middle, this movie has like an average rating of 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I think that's insanely high. I gave it like 3.5. And if I had to give this movie a grade on a scale of 1 to 100, basically like my 3.5 just suggested, I gave this a 70. I think that the animation's great. I feel like the vibes are great. The like ability to just like feel how calm and like collected everything is, the way that Sophie is just like an overwhelmingly positive person who's constantly nurturing and feels like very comforting. This movie feels like a very comforting film, but it doesn't move the needle for me in any which way where I'm like, yeah, this was an incredible movie, I need to tell everybody about it, or I don't even think I would rewatch this movie. So that being said, it's just not overall for me. But that being said, that's it for this video. I'm very excited to watch future Studio Ghibli films. Spirited Away is definitely going to be coming up soon. I want to watch Kiki's Delivery Service, because one of my friends, that's their favorite Studio Ghibli film, and when I told them I was going to start watching something, they were like, you better watch that one immediately. So those are a couple of movies that I'll probably be watching in the upcoming week. But that being said, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow.